This is the humble Sherman, brave, reliable, and constantly being taken advantage of on the battlefield. One day, after being hurt one too many times, our poor friend the Sherman rolls down to the local gym. Voicing his struggles to the town muscleheads, he takes on a path of growth. And after a few years of hard work, discipline, and lifting many heavy circles, our friend the Sherman makes incredible progress. The Sherman, who has now grown into something more, changes his name, and the T-14 is born.
When the Sherman Tank wasn't enough for history, and specifically for the British Army, a certain project was undertaken. Largely due to the growing ineffectiveness of the Churchill tanks, America began drawing up designs for an assault tank on behalf of the British. A tank that would be stronger, heavier, and an absolute waste of time.
Waste of our time!
The T-14 never saw combat, and of the thousands ordered, only 4 were ever crafted. Couple that with the creation of the M6 heavy tank, and the T-14 was dismissed as irrelevant, destined for the museum. Until War Thunder came along. The great thing about video games is that we can tarnish the past for a small dopamine hit in the form of vehicular combat. The T-14 is an absolute monster on the battlefield, and I'm going to tell you why this fat, girthy chonker of a Sherman is my new favorite ground vehicle. Frick you in particular, I'm out of shells. To understand just how awesome the T-14 is, you need to understand one fundamental weakness about the Sherman: side armor.
Are you kidding me?
The Sherman is almost a perfect box, much like Germany's Tiger, except when the Tiger angles, you can kiss penetrating its armor goodbye. And when the Sherman angles, well... The T-14 doesn't have this problem. You have nearly 63 millimeters of side armor. That is nearly double the side armor of the 4.0 Sherman. Not to mention that if you take angling into account, which from experience is something you absolutely want to do, I balance, you see what I'm saying? You can have about 150 millimeters of protection on your side.
'Tis but a scratch.
Although the gun is the same as a Sherman's, its body is all muscle. Not only is the armor great for bouncing shells from literal Tiger tanks, but you can reverse angle this tank in times of need. We're gonna do a reverse here. Reverse angle. Reverse angle worked. Another great benefit is that the T-14 is relatively fast for a heavy tank, which makes scurrying around both easy and rewarding. Completely surrounded. Oh, I stole that so hard. How to get down? That's more like it. I'm leading the charge 4-0. Well, that does put a damper on our relationship. Hey! You can't double jump me, that's rude. If you sneak around in a light tank and accidentally get caught, you are almost guaranteed a one-way trip back to the lobby. Machine gunner on the Puma. Oh, I just killed the Puma. But getting caught off guard in the T-14 is usually a casual event encounter.
Hello there.
I'm gonna just keep smoking this guy until he gets pissy and then... I got him. Oh, that was rude. The number of times that I tanked a shell by wiggling or moving was incredible. Yeah, there it is. That's my death. And I think I've survived longer in the T-14 than I have in any other heavy tank. Let's do this. We're gonna change here. Yo, I tanked that. That's crazy. A little more. Oh, lucky shot! If you play as if you are in a tank destroyer, you are going to hate the T-14. It is not meant for sniping. Not ideal. Oh, baby! Your best bet for being as effective as possible and stacking those sweet, sweet tank kills is to do 3 things: close distance, bounce shells, and remove visibility. These 3 variables mixed together created a nearly unstoppable tactic. Have you ever listened to the intro of Call of Duty Ghosts?
No.
If you have seen it, you'll remember that the opening of Ghosts describes how 60 men stopped 500 enemy fighters.
The sand stuck to their skin like a shroud, changing them, anointing them. When the enemy drew near, the remaining 14 rose out of the desert sand. They were like hunters that couldn't be seen.
The T-14 can be a ghost if you use smoke. Assuming you use the smoke launcher and smoke shells, you can manipulate the battlefield to be your personal arena. Take for example this clip of my run-in with a Tiger tank. The T-14 is a 4.7. This Tiger H1 is a full up tier at 5.7. And yet by smoking, bouncing shells, and flanking, I easily got on his side and dispatched him. I also forgot to mention that Thicko here has a stabilizer.
Holy Jesus. What is that, Private Pile?
This means that you can not only angle your tank towards your opponent, but if done correctly, you can close the distance to them while putting pressure on them. Being able to put rounds downrange accurately while driving and bouncing shells, and possibly using smoke, is just raising your chances of success. That's a oh. Huh. Find it, find it, find it. I got him. Oh my gosh. In my opinion, smoke is by far the greatest shell in War Thunder. You can blind enemies, create space, and just be a butt in general. So we're gonna keep plinking him with... We're just gonna keep hitting him with smoke. One of my all-time favorite moves with the T-14 is saved for what I'd call a bad encounter. I would classify a bad encounter as something like a KV series, Tiger series, or other big tank. Depending on circumstances, like what type of tank it is, how they're positioned, number of their allies around, I will load up a smoke shell. I then simultaneously pop the vehicle smoke and start angling. To complement this maneuver, I will reverse as hard as possible while the smoke deploys. The second it pops and visibility drops, I accelerate with all I've got. Each time I do this, I'll change up how I reverse and when I'll accelerate. I figured that if I don't know what I'm doing, the enemy won't either. So mixing all these aspects together, smoke, better armor, clever tactics, and just straight power, instantly made the T-14 one of my all-time favorites. Oh, goodbye. Oh, I'm gonna instant karma. So remember, kids, the next time life has you down, or that girl you like rejected your love, or your Sherman got side-penned, just drive over to the Tiger Tank gym and start lifting. The T-14 is a solid pick if you're hoping to buy a premium in the future. That's pretty much all I've got. I'm gonna finish out with a devotion, so if you head out, have a great day. Right there. Got him. In Judges 6:12 of the Holy Bible, the angel of the Lord appears to Gideon and said, "Mighty hero, the Lord is with you." But at the time, Gideon didn't see himself as a warrior. He felt small, unqualified, but God saw more in him than he saw in himself. God saw what Gideon could become with his strength. Sometimes we can feel like the Sherman, overlooked, underpowered, maybe even rejected. But with God's help, we can grow, improve, and step into something greater, like Gideon did, and kind of like what the T-14 became. God doesn't just see who you are right now. He sees who you can become through him. That's all I've got. My name is Remington. This is the Church Basement, and I'll see you guys next time.